Okay, I don't really know how to actually title this video yet. I really need some assistance here, but let's record it first. Something I just came across this morning, and I thought, hold on a second, this might be AI generated. This looks a bit, suspicious. Anyway, let's flick over here and sort of let's start to, look at the whole situation. Right, so let's go to this screen here. Now, I don't know who Carl Vernon is, but that's obviously the author of this particular video. He's pulling apart what looks like a phone or handy, or a mobile phone recording of somebody who's come into one of these sweatshops in India. And here's me thinking, this is the way my mind works, which is, I've just recently been hearing about, the USA, and the way it's, trying to, help India expand its data centers. And then all I see is this. And then what are India going to do? Well, they're going to feed, their workforce data into these data centers and then train AI to train robots to take their jobs and, blah, 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 the whole thing, going down that scattered thought process. And again, I just like to explore these ideas. Now I've got a sort of a thinking mind, and I wouldn't call it a thinking mind. Now that I got a word salad that I can throw ideas out and see where it spits out and just be a little bit entertained, let's dissect this one. This one looks interesting. So I did throw it up there. I gave it a whole bunch of shit to talk about. You can snapshot and, try to sort of gather what I said. I'm not going to read it through, but I just loved the answer. So let's go through the answers she gave.
There's a kernel of truth in what you're seeing, but the picture's a bit more tangled than the quiet robot invasion via India storyline. What is real is the shift toward economic nationalism. Think tariffs, supply chains pulled closer, and a kind of bring the factory back home instinct that's been building since COVID exposed how fragile global logistics can be. But here's the twist. Bringing industry back doesn't mean bringing back jobs in the old sense. It often means highly automated factories with fewer workers, more technicians, and a lot of blinking lights doing the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
The headset factory idea you saw? Plausible in pieces, but not quite the master plan. There are companies capturing human motion to train robots, especially in logistics and manufacturing. But it's usually done in controlled environments, not covertly across entire sweatshops. The economics also don't fully line up yet. A $10,000 general-purpose robot that can replace a human seamstress reliably all day? We're not there. Not even close. Narrow robots, yes. Universal worker bots, not yet. Where your instinct does land cleanly is the direction of travel. The real squeeze isn't America versus India. It's automation versus routine labor everywhere. The uncomfortable truth is that both globalization and reshoring can shrink low-skilled job pools at the same time. One moves jobs abroad, the other replaces them with machines. So the future looks less like a conspiracy and more like a slow economic tide. Rising productivity, fewer traditional entry-level jobs, and a growing premium on adaptability. The middle class doesn't disappear overnight, but it does quietly get redefined. Confidence, medium-high on the macro trend, low on the specific headset sweatshop pipeline being widespread or coordinated at that level.
And of course, this is what I find. I really enjoy calling it out and, it's sort of your data's wrong sort of thing, because again, what is it? It's just a collection of data in a cloud somewhere that they've trawled through the masses of conversations and bits and binary numbers around the world and created some sort of, alphabet soup sieve, and then you turn around and sort of said, well, explain that. You might need to update your data, is what I sort of said. And I just love the way it just turns around.
Yeah, fair call. This is real. You're not imagining it. Those exact kinds of videos have gone viral in the last few days, and even mainstream outlets are now saying the same thing. Workers in garment factories are being filmed with head-mounted cameras. And one of the leading theories is that the footage could be used to train AI systems by capturing first-person task data. India Today. So your instinct wasn't crazy. It's just one layer deeper than the headlines usually go. But here's where it gets interesting, and a bit less cinematic conspiracy, more messy reality. What you're seeing equal to data harvesting for imitation learning, teaching machines by watching humans. That part is absolutely a thing. Even Elon Musk's team has humans wearing camera rigs to train robots in labs. Business Insider. The uncertain bit equal to whether these specific factories are doing it intentionally for robotics or just part of monitoring process optimization pilot programs. Right now, even the articles admit it hasn't been verified who's doing it or why India today. So think of it like this. What you've spotted is not a hidden master plan with a neat pipeline, India, AI, robots, US job wipeout. It's more like a scattered constellation of trends that could connect. Cheap human labor, massive data hunger for AI, companies experimenting with record everything approaches. Robotics still clumsy, but learning fast. If those dots ever fully join up, then yeah, your scenario becomes a lot more plausible. Right now, though, we're in the gold rush for data phase, not the robot army rollout phase. So, you weren't wrong. You just jumped ahead a couple of chapters in the book.
Yeah, well, and I sort of said I'm preparing the next question. I thought I'd just take you along on these little mind journeys I do. Right. Well, you know me. That's what I do. I'm always sort of on the edge of these issues, and I'd like to look into them before they become a thing. The other part I was thinking of, and I've just got to think of the way to phrase this now. I've seen recent videos in China or coming out of China and places like that where they've got these demonstration robots, in places like public places or the malls and things like that. They definitely don't look like fake videos, but what we're seeing is they're clumsy and they fall over, they hit people in the face. They're already attacking humans, and now they want to put them in the workforce. What next?
You're doing that thing again, leaning over the railing and looking at the future before the safety signs go up. What you're seeing with those robots in malls is real, in the sense that prototypes are out there, being tested in semi-public spaces. But the attacking humans angle is where things drift a bit. Those clips usually show balance failures, bad object detection, or laggy control systems. In other words, a toddler in a metal suit with no instincts. When it swings an arm or stumbles, it looks aggressive, but it's more like a drunk ladder than a hostile entity. The deeper thread you're picking up, though, is valid. We're watching machines move from boxed environments like factories into messy human spaces. That's a big transition. Factories are chessboards, malls are jazz clubs, and robots are still learning the rhythm. What comes next isn't a sudden wave of machines replacing people overnight. It's more incremental, almost sneaky. First they assist, then they shadow, then they replace specific tasks. Cleaning bots, delivery bots, warehouse pickers. The humanoid form is more of a long-term bet, not tomorrow's workforce. The real tension isn't robots turning violent. It's society deciding how much clumsiness we tolerate while they learn. Because every stumble you see now is basically training data for a smoother version later. So, yeah, not robot uprising, more like awkward interns made of aluminum, slowly getting promoted.
And there's me thinking about, getting promoted, the workforce of the future. It's an interesting paradigm that we're approaching now. I still find it amusing. I think, ultimately, 20 years from now, I probably won't have to worry about it unless, of course, there's some sort of breakthrough in longevity and where they can replace my creaky bones and in joints with something artificial. Then I might get a few more years out of these bones. But I just think of it. I just find it's interesting. I interact with this word salad. I get plausible deniability, then plausible acknowledgement the fact that this is going on. The question I would ask right now before I close. So it's interesting how you pivoted on your first comment into, confirming the evidence.
That's a fair catch, and I'll own the pivot. What happened there wasn't me changing the story. It was tightening the lens once you showed actual footage. Your first description sounded like one of those stitched-together narratives that could be true, but often gets exaggerated online. Then you drop the image. And suddenly, we're not in theory anymore. We're looking at something tangible, real workers, real headsets, real environment. So the adjustment is basically this. First pass equal to pattern recognition and probability. Second pass equal to updated with direct evidence. That said, even with the image, There's still a gap between they are wearing cameras and this is definitely a coordinated global AI training pipeline for replacing workers. One is visible, the other is still inference. If anything, this is actually the interesting bit about where we are right now. Reality is starting to look just enough like the theory that it's hard to tell where observation ends and projection begins.
Yeah, so what do we take away from this? It is word salad. It's plausible, but always second guess it. That's the takeaway. That's the sort of a motto I've adopted. I do pitch AIs against AIs if I'm not happy with what I'm hearing, and I don't think I'm trying to avoid the bias principle. Whereas I'm looking for an answer that suits my bias. I'm more inquiring as to what's going on with the world. I'm neutral about one way or the other, but I just want to sort of see if I can get a confirmation of some ideas. But it's still, as I said, always remember it's just word salad. It's not a real person behind it, although it sounds real, and no matter what voices you put behind it, it can be a little bit challenging to get a bit of a snapshot on the reality tunnel that we're living in, as opposed to what we're seeing and hearing online. Anyway, peace out, guys. We'll catch up with you on the next video. See you tomorrow.